and senior political affairs reporter Daniel Kariuki now details former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua's allies have accused the government of harassing the Member of Parliament, maintaining they will not be cowed.
Thursday at the Kiambu Law Court, Juja MP George Koimburi was a man under siege. Released on bail, Koimburi was addressing the media, and no sooner had the legislature and his supporters started to chant freedom songs, they saw DCI detectives within the precincts of the court, forcing Koimburi to stage an escape using a motorbike to evade a possible rearrest. The charges against him included 6 counts related to forging academic certificates, allegations dating back as far as 1994, as well as submitting falsified documents to the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, EACC, in 2021. Koimburi on Wednesday pleaded not guilty and was released on a 200,000 Kenya shillings cash bail. However, come Thursday, the Office of the Directorate of Public Prosecutions, ODPP, opposed Koimburi's temporary release.
Anticipatory bail was given because the accused person had not been charged, was anticipating arrest.
Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua and his allies have hit out at government over alleged intimidation.
We will do our best as lawyers, Mheshimiwa. We will support him. And for all Kenyans, we urge you, wherever you are, stay calm. The court will deal with the case judiciously and fairly.
The leaders claim they are being targeted over persistent criticism of the government.
Even if they zip Honorable Koimburi, we shall speak and we shall ask, why did you spend our money on Mzee Raila?
This case is just a trumped-up case. We know who started it previously before it was withdrawn. It has no evidence.
Meanwhile, the Juja MP has filed an anticipatory bail that will protect him from arrest by police. Daniel Kariuki, KTN.
Okay. So you see, as I mentioned, this is a great intimidation tactic by the government to silence anyone who's asking about where the money was spent, how much Raila Odinga received for his campaign. Testing 1, 2, 3. I hope you can hear me. And they're trying very hard to intimidate any politician, any MP, or anyone of any kind of influence from asking these pertinent questions, because they know their lies, their mischief, the corrupt deals that was made. That MP of Georgia simply asked how much money was spent on Raila's campaign, and he was arrested by the DCI and detained. Why would you detain somebody for simply asking a question? Something that is of great national importance. Every taxpayer wants to know, how much money did Raila Odinga receive for the campaign of AU? It is estimated to be 13 billion. It could be more. Who authorized that money? Because any money, funds that come from the consolidated treasury has to be approved by the National Assembly, which was not the case. So basically, this money was appropriated or misappropriated by someone in the government. Who is that? How much was it? Can we get a breakdown of how it was spent, to whom it was spent to? What exactly? Itemize how that money was spent. There lies the mischief. I'm telling you. I kept on telling you in my several live, my previous submission in my other live session, and I told you that this whole AU campaign was nothing but a money laundering scheme, a scheme to pay Raila billions for him conceding defeat to William Samoei. That way, William Samoei can rule till 2027. And in the middle of that, Raila will get paid, and then they shall form a government of national unity. The NADCO nonsense that we're giving you. Let's go back to something else that Okiya Omtata also asked yesterday. And the answer we got from one of those idiots from ODM was not quite satisfactory. In fact, he actually avoided the question altogether. Let me just show you what I mean, okay? Are you ready? Get started. Please, the first order of business, do not waste any time, is to like the video. Hit that like button every time I come in. Hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. If this is your first time, please go ahead and do so as we continue to give you what you need. Hit the like button right now to support that channel, then subscribe if this is your first time. Let's get to the matter. Okiya Omtata brought the issue yesterday in the House, in the National Assembly, I believe, somewhere, whether it was Senate or whatever the case was. But I want to show you how ridiculous the answer was to this, okay? Are you ready? Let's go. Let me show you what the kind of answer, the ridiculous answer we got from the lawmakers. He said, oh, we spent our money by ourselves. I don't know what. Please hit that like button. I see 6 people. Hit that like button. Mara moja, msiharibu wakati. Please, let me show you. Let me show you what happens here. So very quickly, let me show you. Okiya Omtata brought the issue on the Senate floor, I believe. And this is the answer we got. The flimsiest, pathetic answer that we got from whatever his name was. But please enjoy the nonsense from this guy. Okay, here it is. Let me enlarge it if I can. Okay. I hope you guys can hear. It will come up shortly. Please bear with me.
The treasury to spend that money if the money came from the public. The other issue that I would like to speak, yes, please inform me.
Would you like to be informed by Senator Eddy?
If it's credible.
Proceed, Senator Eddy.
Hold on. I want to bring it back. Listen carefully.
But let us be informed how much money was taken out of the treasury, if at all, and what procedure was used to authorize that. Because I've checked the Appropriation Acts of Parliament. I've not found any provision for that campaign. And so I would want to know how much was spent on that campaign. And if Parliament was not involved, who authorized the treasury to spend that money if the money came from the public? The other issue that I would like to speak, yes, please inform me.
Would you like to be informed by Senator Eddy?
If it's credible.
Proceed, Senator Eddy.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I think that the issue that the Senator of Busia is raising is a patent issue. And he has raised a dichotomous issue. One is the issue of the campaign, and the other is the issue of those who went to Addis Ababa. It will be remiss of me not to speak on one that does affect me directly, because I did travel to Addis Ababa, and I did interact with the people who traveled to Addis Ababa to be able to give support to our own. I want to inform the Senator of Busia on the issue of those who traveled. Majority of whom I interacted with, and I also traveled to give Raila Amolo Odinga support. We self-sponsored to go to Addis. And if you need the evidence to that effect, I am willing to table as many as possible of those people who believed that indeed supporting our own, just like we'll go to a rugby sevens in South Africa, or you will go to watch our sister Kipyegon run in a marathon, or you will go to watch Kipchoge in Olympic. Some of us were patriotic enough to believe that this matter was very important for the country, that we self-sponsored ourselves to get to Addis Ababa. That is an important information that I think that patriots like yourself should understand, that patriots like us did take that chance and did take that hint to be able to go and support Baba Raila Amolo Odinga in Ethiopia. I thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Senator Eddy. You can proceed, Senator Okie.
Thanks for the unverified information. I would love to see you table that you have promised to table to demonstrate to this House that people self-sponsored. In the absence of that, you hold your horses and forever keep quiet. Moving on,
Senator Okia, the Honorable Senator actually offered before being prompted that he could table the evidence. So it shouldn't be an area of contention. He can bring that evidence and table.
It's not an area of contention, but it's an attempt to sugarcoat a tablet. And that sugarcoating the one I'm guarding against.
Which you would conclude after he tables and you find it's sugar-coated. That's the only time you
he needs to produce
have rendered a fair judgment on the issue.
As well as Soyinka tells
so
us.
Senator Eddy, you will be allowed to table that evidence that you paid your own ticket and you paid your own. Okay.
Thank you, my
Proceed.
Brother. Having said that, many issues aside, a lot has been said about foreign policy. Where I stand, foreign policy basically means how attractive are you to others? Or how threatening are you to others?
I will halt it there because Okiya Omtatah got off his game. Number one, Okiya Omtatah laid out a very good, pertinent questions that every Kenyan should be asking. Number one, how much was spent on Raila Odinga's AU campaign? Number two, where was the money? How was it spent? Who approved of that money? Because from his understanding, reading the Constitution, it says that any money that is appropriated, any money that is allocated for anything must have the approval of the National Assembly. The legislative body has to approve of it. So in this case, how much was the campaign money that was one dem tulia naona una flood in nio? Relax. So the question that is being asked, okay, how much was the money? And not only how much the money, who approved it? And not only that, can we audit and see the itemized flow sheet that shows how much this money was spent? Ni traffic? Sawa basi. Haya naona basi. Sijui sikujua. Haya basi, shukran. One day. Niko nafikiri unavuta bangi. But anyway, getting back to the topic, like I was saying. Say hi. One day na wewe. Haya. Shukran one day. Okay? So you see what I'm saying? So if you look at the clip, Okiya Omtatah asked very well, but he kind of let go because the guy who stood up, I don't know what his name was, came up and started to say, okay, sawa one day. Shukran. Haya, nashukuru. Na pia like inasaidia pia, dunga like pia. Sawa one day, shukran. Sikujua, I'm learning these things. Haya basi. Okay, so you had Okiya Omtatah ask that from his understanding, any money appropriated, any money that is supposed to be allocated for a X, Y, and Z project, a project or something or whatever the case is that the government wants to do, even if it's an AU campaign for Raila Odinga, it has to be approved by the National Assembly. So he's asking, from his knowledge, there was no approval that he knows of, he was aware of, that the parliament approved this amount that was removed from the treasury. So he's asking, who approved it? How much was it? And I am answering an extra question which the MP of Georgia was asking. Can we audit and see the itemized sheet, the spending sheet of how this money, whatever it was, whether it's 13 billion, 10 billion, 100 billion, 50 billion, let's see the breakdown of how that 13 billion was spent. That's what we are worried about. But you saw that the gentleman that stood up started saying that, oh, this is a dichotomous question. It's asking if whether we funded ourselves. And he went to the proceeding and said that all those 100 MPs that went to Addis Ababa, walijilipia, which wasn't the question. The question was, when the money left the treasury, okay, the consolidated fund, it has to be approved by someone. So who was it that approved it? Because it has also have to be approved by National Assembly, but they did not do that. So how did that happen? Who approved it? How much it was it? That is the question that we should be asking. And it's unfortunate that people are not asking these questions. We are letting this go. We are letting this go. Hii kitu inaenda tu hivyo. Nobody is is asking these questions. We are just don't you find it suspicious that Ujama, what's his name, that Georgia MP asked the question and now he's finding himself, ati wanataka kumshika juu ya sijui nini. I mean, don't you find that ridiculous? Don't you find that actually suspicious? For a valid question. That is what I'm talking about. Something smells rotten. And that is what I want to find out. Why? If you see the government is being bothered by a question, keep on digging because there's something there. Ulipata notification, Shi Mariam? Pole ka hujapata notification. Okay. Sawa. Shukran one day. One day mkume amelewa hizi vitu. Sasa endelea basi na hizo maninio zako. Shukran. One day. Haya. Okay. Shi Mariam tulikupigia, tuligonga kwa mlango lakini haukufungua. Tulikuwa tunafikiri unalala. So hatukuku lakini mnanifurahisha leo. So that's what I'm saying. If you see that this government is bothered by the question that was asked by the Juja MP, and they're bothered to the point where they want to detain him, arrest him in order to silence him, that means there's a rot somewhere. And we need to figure out what it is. It has to be addressed. We want it addressed. So that is what I'm talking about. Hold on. Speaking of which, and other news as we continue. I didn't play this video the last time. Let me play it. Ndio hii basi. Hii nilisahau hatukuongelea hii mambo. We just brushed on it a little bit, like tutaicheza tena. Tutaicheza ndio tujue ukweli wa mambo. Haya, twende. Here it is. This was Oscar Sudi and
there is very little that Ruto can do in the intervening period to save his presidency, and he knows it. That is why his allies are speaking the way that he does. That is why he is insulting the public and telling them off every turn he gets. Told us that he has a PhD and nobody should lecture him on anything. I've never seen a PhD who hangs out with class 2 dropouts, because what you do then is that you reduce the average intelligence to at least class 8. If you are just surrounded by, they say birds of a feather flock together. How are you a PhD hanging out with Sudi?
Sifuna, you are saying that William Ruto is hanging out with standard 2 dropouts. Let me ask you a question. Our fathers, are they university? Are they graduates?
Graduates.
Number 2. Can you compare me with you, Sibuna? You know, my IQ and your IQ, it is not even a quarter. So look for somebody you can compare yourself with, or you can compare William Ruto with, but not me. I'm in another class. Not because I'm bragging, but you can ask my history. You don't have even a quarter of my knowledge. Can you go and ask people or ask your friends if and I ask them to tell you the truth? They will tell you the truth that you are nothing, and you don't reason like even a standard for Form 4 dropout, leave alone standard 2, because my friend, it is not about school. It's about skills. It's not about PhD. It's about calculation. So long as you can speak, you can think, you can see, you can smell, I don't think you have both of those things.
Mambo, as long as you can smell, you can think, you can see, if you have your senses, you have a greater IQ than Sifuna. I guess that's what Oscar Sudi. Hey, ai. Mambo inache. Mimi nakwambia Kenya hapa. Mimi sijui nitawaambia nini nawaambia, lakini these are the kind of lawmakers we have. With Sifuna our debate, we're talking. Yes, we want a Sifuna versus Oscar Sudi debate. Tuone nani ni nani. But mnasikia. The question that I want everyone, our man in Neo, whether it's Gen Zs or anyone of any influence, is to ask the government, how much did you spend on Raila Odinga's campaign? Can you itemize line by line how it was used? Hiyo pesa ilienda wapi? Ilienda wapi? We want to see everything. We want to see everything. Kama ulitumia kwa hoteli, kama ulitumia kwa sijui nini, we want to see all of those things. Because 13 billion ni pesa mingi. Hiyo sio pesa ya ninio. Hiyo sio pesa ya ninio. Hiyo sio pesa ya kunio mandazi, ya kununua mandazi, as Raila would say. Remember that? You see? So yeah, we want to find out what that is. For them to come for the Juja MP, it has to be something that is really itching and disturbing this Ruto government. Pesa mimi niliwaambia hapo ndio pesa imekulwa. Ama jamaa wamekula pesa hapo. Okay? These people are stealing. Wacha tuangalie video nyingine hapa, tulikuwa tunawekewa na nani? Tuliwekwa na Aoko sijui ya sijui. This is the young guy I was talking about. He was okay going through Neo. Twende. Wacha niwachezee hii hata ndio mjue maneno vile.
Jeff, let me get back to Kasmol first. Kasmol talks very gloriously and very beautifully.
Yeah, sorry, unajua connection pia ni kidogo. Okay, ndio hiyo sasa inakuja. Haya. Yes, thank you very much. Na muzidi kufinya hiyo like button, mufinye kabisa, na subscribe kama mja subscribe.
The Orange Democratic Movement.
No, but
wait a minute. Ina load, unajua pia hii kuload pia ni shida. Tuko hapa. Like the video. Watu wa 10 hapa nataka kuona like 10. And na mshare huko kwa nini your political nini WhatsApp na hiyo mambo mengine na kwa hizo channel zingine na Facebook na kadhalika.
Also I think let us not make jest of it because this, but also I think let us not make jest of it because this is very important. This is a leap forward. This is a leap forward, Jeff, and I think this is part of what I would like us to let's just we do not need to be dramatic about this. I think that my role in the Orange Democratic Movement Youth League is to as eloquently, as articulately articulate the positions of the party.
Okay.
So if we make it Kizungumingi, then that seems like it's in jest. But I am taking this very seriously. In fact, if you give me a short break, I'll come with the merchandise. You know, I'm always walking around with merchandise from the party. So let's just skip it. Let's
in the break. We'll do that. Mohammed, Maliza, your thoughts?
Yes, so I mean, no doubt that Kasmul strongly believes how good he spoke of ODM. Unfortunately, that is not the reality. Those ideals, which we all love, which he has spoken very beautifully about the Orange Democratic Movement, are only the ideals of the Orange Democratic Movement when they're out of power. The people's concerns for the Orange Democratic Movement, they're only concerned about the people. They're only concerned about the cost of living. They're only concerned about abductions. They're only concerned about every evil that the government of the day commits only when they're out of government. And I'll tell you why. In 2017 or thereabouts, I think, the Orange Democratic Movement got into a handshake with the then Jubilee regime in power. You remember Capitol Hill, you remember the saying Mosho Moja. You would go there and you're sinless now. Everything has been sorted. You would go get your stuff done. So those ideals are only the ideals of the Orange Democratic Movement for as long as it suits them and their agenda to get into government.
But the Kenyan voter does not care for those as well, because they would have put us in power. We have never been in power as the Orange Democratic Movement, sir. Please be fair to us.
To that as well, the Orange Democratic, and you asked him, are you guys in government? The Orange Democrat, and he asked you, please provide like a write-up or a contract or an agreement. Yes, the Orange Democratic Movement might not be in government de jure, but the Orange Democratic Movement is in government de facto.
You like?
Yes, just a minute. Okay. No, I don't. De facto. 3 or thereabouts, 4 of their senior members are cabinet ministers. They sit in the cabinet of today. So this idea that you must present, if anything, we understand that you can be at the heart of government and you have no write-up to support you. That was displayed by Rigathi Gachagwa's fallout. He said that if only thing, I and the people of Central Kenya are the people who did not ask for a contract with this government. Here is what the people of Western Kenya through Ford and through Amani negotiated. We are only the ones who did not negotiate. So this question or this ask of a legal document or a proof is not politics. It's not the reality of politics. The reality of politics is that the Orange Democratic Movement is very much in government. Secondly, Jeff, if we characterize all the problems that Kenyans face or all the cries of young people as mere logistical issues, that we're working on them, that please follow the process, there's a bureaucracy in place. That is what failed governments do.
Haya, ameambiwa. Sasa amesema ni bureaucracy. Amemwambia Kasmuel ati wacha kujifanya hamko kwa serikali na mko kwa serikali. Wale wakubwa wenu ambao wako kwa katika chama cha ODM walioingizwa wakaeka kwa CSG wa nini, Joho wako huko, sijui nani, Opio Wandai, sijui yule wa nini Mbadi na yule nini wa former Kakamega government, sijui they are all in, and you want to sit down here and tell us that you're not in government. La hasha. You are part of the rot. You're part of this failed regime. And I'm telling you, listen to me, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters. I know earlier we were talking about how we should vote for Ruto out. Mimi nasema tuondoe Ruto saizi kabla hata tujafika hiyo 2027. Tumuondoe saizi. Na by the way, chukueni dakika moja mfinye like. Finya. If it is your first time getting into this channel and you don't know what this channel is about, it's about Kenyan politics and even world politics as it relates to Kenya. So finya like, na waona hapa nyote, finya ni like hapo mara moja na subscribe if it is your first time. Hebu endelea na muweke na muweke ninio na muweke subscription, okay? Sudi na Cheregai wanafaa wakule na debate wakuwe na debate na his Gen Z ama Morconmen. I know you see there's more people than the chat here shows. Asante one day now is doing one day is doing the Lord's work. tumninio wekeni like moja ya one day map, anafanya kazi ya bwana. Karibu, namuona nani Kipril pia ameingia hapa, karibu sana. Heri kusema ukweli, while my English and English hamwezi kunyima care like ndio wananinyima like. What kind of the people are you? Kuna watu wa 13 hapa na mwezi kuingiza like. Hebu wekeni like ifike 10 tafadhali. Aya, tukiendelea, like I was saying, these people should be, the next move. Mimi nasema hivi, wacha niwaambie kitu. Let me tell you something that we need to be doing. Mimi nawaambia kitu ambayo itatusaidia tuache mambo mingi. I know some people are looking at 2027 yani nio. Listen, tuangalie vile tunatoa mtu before the end of this year. How about that? Usikieni, mnasikia kipa naambia tu mupunch your like button, muipunch, hata msiudunge, muipunch. Haya, like I've been saying, Ruto we should not wait to 2020. 27 ni mbali. Tukifika, by the way, tukifika hata 2026 amekuwa ameshaua kila mtu, amebaki yeye Murkomen na Sudi. So we should remove him before the end of 2025. Naambia tumtowe, tuache mambo ya sijui okay, nyinyi mnataka kama mnataka kwenda kuregister mkuvote, registereni, mimi sitawasimamisha, lakini mimi nataka Ruto aondolewe before June if it's possible. Ruto Samoei Ruto, anaitwaje? William Samoei Ruto aondolewe before June of 2025. 2027 ni mbali. Atatolewa na Sudanese wale wa juu, nani Kir ama ni nani? Hili ni ile Sudan ile ya juu huko, Sulia juu, RSF Rapid Response sijui nini, ni wale wa Sudanese wa juu huko North Sudan, I think. Hiyo ndio I think that's the RF whatever. Kir ni wa Southern Sudan. You see what I'm saying? So huyu jamaa mimi nasema let's galvanize, organize, antagonize. Tutoe ujamaa before the end of watch hata ninio. Why is he still up here? Ati tunangoja 20 huyu chali bana, tukingoja mpaka hiyo sasa we are not going to survive. Mimi si wadanganyi. Kwa sababu huyo mtu he's very crafty. He's crafty by nature. And it's not even about his craftiness. The thing with Ruto, the thing with Ruto, it's not even about his craftiness. Ruto is about him having the instruments of power. Umeambiwa kipu kuja na amani hapa, tumetulia. Nasema it is about ninio 27 mbali, si ndio? Atatumaliza sorted by 2027. Huyu jamaa tumtoe before June 2025 this year. Popular revolution. Kwa nini already we have the roadmap ya kutoa Ruto. We saw that on the 25th. Mbona mnataka kujaribu njia nyingine? Mnafikiri hiyo njia nyingine itatumika? I mean it might work, but I just don't see it if is in the control. Maprofet wamesema, lakini maprofet wa Kenya hawaeleweki. Maprofet kuanga na mambo mingi, lakini that's why I can't really put my hope on these prophets. But it's a possibility. I'm not saying it can't happen. By the way, people are asking, where is Governor Susan Kihika? Governor, I think is Nakuru ama wapi. Watu wanasema amepotea, hatujui yako wapi. Mmejua kwa wapi? Watu watusaidie hapa, mtusaidie. Yeah? But that's what I'm saying. We have to remove this guy. Thank you so much, Katende. I see you. Karibu sana, karibu sana. Wekeni like hapo. Wekeni like. Tafadhali tufike like 10, bakia 3 ifike 10 na tuongeze hata mpaka ifike 30. Leo that is our renewal. Raila has lost ODM party. That's an interesting take. ODM party seems to be divided. That's a very interesting. Actually, let's talk about ODM. Let's talk about ODM for a minute. Tuongee mambo ODM, tuongee ODM kidogo. Tuongee ODM. ODM, to me, the way I see it, is divided between sycophants and ati kihika kwa US wapi ni mtafute. Yeah. Anyway, ODM is divided in the middle between sycophants and wale people who are realist, politicians who are looking at the future and they see that if they stick with Ruto, they do not stand. Thank you so much, Omuganda Katende. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Yeah. Mtoto wa nani? Mtoto wa Ruto. Amezaa na Ruto ama amezaa na nani? Aya, tuzidi kulike. Naona likes zinaenda juu kabisa. Twende like I need 10 more likes. Okay. What I'm saying is this. We have two factions within ODM. There are ODM sycophants ambao na believe baba akisema, let's amini we follow through and it will work out. Na kuna wale watu ambao wamekaa, wengine wamelengwa na baba kama the likes of Babu Owino, ambao they are looking at it and they wasema, you know what? Wamunyoro might be an option or I might go independent. Since hii kitu wanataka kupatia Sakaja kiti ya Nairobi. Then there's somebody like Sifuna who's looking at it and anasema, you know what? Mimi, I can't see myself being part of an party that is inashikana na Ruto going to 2027. Because nikiangalia mbele, there's no way we can win our seats back, majority seats, or even win the presidency with William Samoei Ruto. And in case there's makelele ama vita, we shall be blamed. Iyo ninio. Wakiiba iyo kura, which is most likely to happen, like I've been telling you, we ODM and our affiliation, we shall be held responsible for being part of the mizozo ambayo itafanyika huko 2027. So Ruto is a no-go for Mtuka or Sifuna. So Sifuna is sitting there thinking, you know what? I'm not in it. I don't think so. I don't want to be part of it. Raila no longer runs ODM. No, I think he still does. I mean, yeah. You can hear how I've never had anyone in ODM finish a sentence without giving praise to Raila Odinga. I've never had it. I challenge you. Name one person from ODM who can finish one sentence without mentioning the name of Raila Odinga. Please tell me. Niambieni. Who among them? Aya. Nani nasemaje? Since when did Kenya bring Sudan and Congo rival to make statements in Nairobi? Now the situation in Congo is really not good. Shekedi, Sifuna is very smart. Namona nani hapo pia iko wapi, Nyagaka kwa hapo, Q pia anasema ati ODM is a cult. What was I saying? Yeah, Congo are in a weak point right now. M23, it's like it's taking over. They are going to face a coup d'etat, basically. Felix Tshisekedi will probably flee if help doesn't come soon. But South Africa might step up. Some Western countries might step up and help Tshisekedi. And once M23 are pushed back, that's when Ruto will have to worry, because Ruto seems to be in support of this thing. Karibu sana Nyagaka, na kuona kijana mshupevu. Whatever cases hawatu yeah, maybe amekuja kuzaa huku ndio mtoto wake akuwe mtoto wa huku. But you know, Trump ameleta ile maneno. Speaking of Trump, leo watu wa Trump mnataka kuongea mambo ya Trump. We can go through this. I have time. Hata violence niko ready. Anyway, I'm just joking. I think the 14th Amendment basically says that watoto ambao walizaliwa, watoto wa slaves, ex-slaves, will automatically become Americans. So anyone that's what Trump is trying to bring back, but it won't work. He's basically saying that just because you're born in America does not give you natural citizenship, okay? So that's a topic for another day, okay? That's a topic for another day. Najua watu wa Trump, watu ambao wamechukia Trump wako hapo, but whatever. We are not going down that road at this point because we all know how it goes. If you know, you know. Anyway, like I was saying, Raila is still in vacation. I don't know where he is. Last time he was in Saudi Arabia. There's rumors saying that yuko US at APIA. I don't know. He's taking a Ninio back and plot his next move. They want to plot vile atarudi and reinvent himself. Okay. And chat, hope you are all well. Okay. We are all well. Q karibu. Shimariam anasema how magaidi Kipa anasema talk Trump Jiro will appear. But you know what? Listen, I think he's doing a good job. Trump is doing a good job. Hate him, like him. Hey, watu waache kulia mambo USAID, but USAID badala mjitegemee mnategemea pesa ya kutoka huko ng'ambo. No. We have enough money and we have talent and resources, human resources, natural resources, every kind of resources that we can actually raise to help ourselves to be self-sufficient. Mambo ya kuombaomba madeni kwa IMF na sijui USAID na sijui Ford ninio tuwache. Tunaweza look at Ibrahim Traore. Traore alisema IMF, I don't want your money. Tokeni hapa. Kwendeni kabisa. So when akiona watu wa Kenya kama wanaanza kulialia ati ya USAID imefanya tukose mkazi, anaangalia like chali. It's in the ground. You know, whatever you need, you have it. You just don't want to utilize it. Na mkuna leaders ambao wana ramba matako ya kina Macron huko. What do you expect? So it's not a bad thing, yeah? Aya. At Trump kesho, Maria Shia anasema Trump kesho. Biden brought Ruto, will sing Trump. So Congo and Rwanda is very crucial for East Africa. We really need to be neutral. Yes, Kenya should have been on a neutral position, but Ruto cannot be neutral because Ruto chose his side. Kitambo. Unakumbuka vile his first year when the president of Iran alikuja Kenya. Okay? Then there was that African summit that was happening, African-Russian summit that was happening in Moscow. And he was supposed to go that nani akampigia simu. Huyu mama ambale wa eBay. What's her name? Meg Whitman. Meg Whitman akamwambia, wewe, jaribu hapo na kesho, hiyo kiti utatoka kesho. Enda tu Russia hivi usalimie Putin. Tunakutoa hiyo kiti. Immediately. And Ruto had to send Alfred Mutua, that useful idiot, kuenda huko. That's the day that Ruto alishika laini. Akaanza, and partly after that, akakimbia tukamwona akipiga picha na the president of World Bank. That lady, I forgot her name. Akaanza kumwambia ati, hey, we need better terms of borrowing. You know, Europeans are borrowing, but the interest rate is not as high as Africa. And no, the whole point is to get rid of IMF and World Bank. Hiyo mambo yote, hiyo mambo ya kuomba sijui pesa huko, yeah? So anyway, since then Ruto has he went way on the, you know, amekuwa puppet wa West. So Ruto is a total puppet. He's a total puppet. Kabisa, he can't even think for himself. He can't do anything. Yeah. So that's why we cannot be neutral. And the West so far have been backing Kagame's government. But Kagame is overreaching. Kagame anaanza kumea pembe. Hatosheki na zile minerals anatoa huko Rwanda, eastern side of Rwanda. Is it eastern or western Rwanda? Whatever the case is. Pale Goma iko and all that stuff, okay? Kagame anaanza kumea pembe through this M23. Na Kagame anataka kutoa nani. In fact, he referred to Felix Tshisekedi as idiot. Okay? Vile unakumbuka hiyo speech vile alikuwa anatoa speech hapo akasema ati I know a leader and I know an idiot. You know, basically he was calling, ndio maana unaona vile Ruto called that meeting, that Zoom meeting in Nairobi. Felix Tshisekedi, the president of Congo, never cared to be part of it, okay? And the Burundi president, you know, alikuwa anasema ati internet yake kuna shida, whatever the case. I mean, he was there, but he wasn't there. So, since Kenya basically, you know, siding with Kagame, who is also another Western puppet, you know, we can never have neutrals. We are not in a neutral stance. But Kagame and encroach into Ninio's territory, which will be a problem because now South Africa is getting involved. South Africa is known, one of those countries that are known for minerals, gold, and diamond, and all this stuff. And most of the big companies, the corporations that have bought off the ANC and actually bought Ramaphosa, not to get to their politics, they have an interest in Congo too because they also want a piece of the pie. But the Congolese president, who is trying to invade this Congolese Congo to take total control of their resources, anawakosea, and that's why South Africa wants to get involved in this war. And South Africa will not get involved by themselves. Of course, there are some also people who have been dipping on this resource-rich country. We have Chinese in there, we have Russians there, we have the US, we have the Belgians, we have France, we have all these funny European countries, Western countries are there. So, with Kagame encroaching and anajaribu kuchukua more Ninio, these Western companies, remember, this is a corporatocracy. It's no longer sovereign nations. These are individual, powerful corporations who have the power of sovereign nations, basically. Okay, they have their private military. That's where you get these mercenaries wa Romania ambao walikuwa na wacho. So these are the guys who are going to actually try to help Felix Tshisekedi and, you know, push back M23. If M23 continue in trying to take total control of Congo. So we wait and see. But just to answer your question, Mr. One them is that we are not neutral. You're right. We are not neutral, so tukuna shida. I hated Trump, but after Biden brought Ruto, I will sing Trump's song all day. Yes, we'll see. I'm yet to see how Trump's administration deals with Ruto's administration. You know, mliona Zelensky. Unaona Zelensky analialia saizi kwa sababu Trump amesema hii vita ni ya ushenzi. Mulikuwa unakula pesa. Hizo milioni mlikuwa mnakula ya bure, rudisheni. Haya, mnaendelea. Anyway. Let's go. Ofisi zao wameziongeza pesa yet hakuna pesa. Hii finance bill imekuwa mbaya sana. Yes. Traore anauzia majirani mchele. Yes, Traore he's taken a very aggressive approach on agriculture, and they are mining and processing their own gold. They are producing their own diamond. They are producing their own electric cars. They are producing their own cloth line. I mean, Traore is the true definition of Pan-Africanist. Okay? Wacha hii Pan-Africanist ya Raila anatuambia ati ama sijui nini, Afro-pessimist, sijui ndio nini. Tuwache hiyo puzi. Okay? That's the real African, Pan-African. Okay? Total dependence. Ile deni walikuwa nayo wameshailipa, almost all of it. Na wakaambia World Bank, hatutaki pesa yenu, toka. They told US, move away. Waliambia France, toka. All of them, get out. Get out. We need our own country. We are going to build our own country. But let's remember that Traore is only alive and haven't been taken out because of the help of Putin. Putin alisema, if you want to make France crumble, just free West Africa. He understands. Putin is... France is collecting 500 billion per year for every francophone nations that they colonized. They are calling it colonial debt. Ati walikuja huko huko hizo inchi wakajenga infrastructure, sijui walijenga railways, sijui nini, so they want them to be paid 500 billion every year. That's why France is still relatively surviving, okay? Even Jacques Chirac said years ago, France is only, if France stopped depending on the Francophone nations, African nations, it will become a third world country. That's what Jacques Chirac said. So they need the West Africans to, they're trying so hard to get rid of these Sahel nations, but Putin understood the game. Putin alisema, mnataka kunitoa? Okay, I will free those Africans and help them be independent. Let's see how you survive. The Ukrainian that they were digging and they were getting from Burkina Faso, they are no longer getting it. In fact, when they started doing that, when they stopped shipping that uranium to France, Paris ilianza having blackouts just a month after that, okay? That's how serious, how that's dependent France is to the West African nations, okay? So these Sahel nations are the way to go. But of course, they needed the help of the Russians. So I'm not saying Russia are the best, but they're way better. They have a way better deal than the Western Union. And I'm glad also, Trump is not necessarily a pro-African president, but he is pro-American. And pro-American means that less military expedition in across the world, okay? Which includes Africa, okay? So he wants less involvement, less money to be spent on all this. Easy mambo ya USAID kupatia watu pesa huku sijui ya AIDS, anawaambia nyinyi kujeni pesa yenu mujitegemee. Muache so so that's basically where it's at, okay? Anyway, that's if anyone noticed, Congo rejected Uhuru in the mediation. Yes, they don't trust any official from Kenya as it stands now. Diplomatically, we are in a weak spot. We are not in the best at all. Built from Rwanda's border. Yes, Tshisekedi is also a puppet. Absolutely, he is. But it's, compared to him, it's two puppets fighting each other. But moja na mea pembe, moja is trying to maintain presidency as the president of Congo. So who refused to back Ruto, Raila? I don't know about that. Why are we saying that Uhuru refused to back Raila and Ruto in AUC? We don't know. Nobody knows this position ya Uhuru. He never came out publicly and said, I'm not supporting Ruto and Raila. I don't know what he went to do in the AUC. I think it will be responsible for me to say that he went there to sabotage Raila's candidacy, because I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. I have no evidence that suggests so I won't put that on him. But anyway, ezidi kulike, nataka like zengine 10 tafadhali. Msiangalie tu muna like and let's subscribe please. Tuende subscribe. We are on a road. Subscribe tafadhali, mwache mchezo. Kinzol, I see you, nice seeing you, brother. I see you here and there. No, 1994 genocide. Aya, tuangalie. Like I said, ndio huyu rais wenu wa Kenya, he was giving hotuba some I think it was this past week. I'm not exactly sure what he was talking about. He tried to sound as smart as he can. Anatuambia akona PhD. So let's listen to what the bullcrap that he always talks. His nonsense. Anyway, listen to this. Excuse me. Ooh, wee. All right, excuse me. All right. While I do that, please, mkae mstari wa mbele. Like I said, I don't know why this thing is not okay. My Ninio is a little bit slow, so tafadhalini. Endeleni. It's loading, so bear with me. Bear with me. Sijui ni mtandao ama ni nini, lakini muzidi kuweka hiyo like button tafadhali. Mweke like, mkae mstari wa mbele, as our friend on the other side would say. Mkae mstari wa mbele. All right. They were okay with Uhuru. I don't know. I don't know how Uhuru's diplomatic maneuver was, or how effective he was. I think on in comparison to Raila Odinga, I think Uhuru was a little, I'm talking about diplomatic speaking, the relationship with the other countries. Uhuru was a bit better. I think he had a more aggressive diplomatic onslaught when, trying to get Amina Mohammed to become whatever the case. The Raila one was, like I told you, I know most of you think that the Raila's campaign for AU was never a campaign. This was a money laundering scheme to get 13 billion from the treasury and use it as a reason for campaign, but it was really payment for Raila conceding defeat for 2022. And also, remember, there was also money which was allocated to this NADCO talks. Do you know who was heading the NADCO talk? Kalonzo Musyoka. Alikula yo pesa. Kalonzo Musyoka is not an elected official. You see how this thing is? Like in Kalonzo Musyoka, unaona vile anajifanya sasa ni opposition. Sijui nini. We have to remember what these people are. It's a long con game. They come up with stuff, alafu they want you to finance it, taxpayers' money. They don't tell you how much is spent on it. Okay? And we don't know how it was approved because the National Assembly should be approving whatever money is to be appropriated for a particular function or a particular whatever in the budget. If it's not in the budget, it should be, it cannot be spent on it. So hii pesa, who is approving this money? Hii pesa ilipewa NADCO. The NADCO report, kila mtu alikula 1 million. Unakumbuka Ichungu hata akituambia. So you how many million? Everyone who was sitting on that Bomas radio discussing him NADCO, they got 1 million each or more than that. Including Kalonzo Musyoka, who is not an elected official. The whole thing is an illegal process. But they're paying themselves. And you wonder why. You see what I'm saying? Lakini sasa unaona Kalonzo ndio anataka kujifanya ati sasa ndio wako opposition na Raila naye akawa in this side. You see the kind of games these people play? These are the kind of games that these people are playing. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends and comrades. While sisi tuna argue hapa, we are trying to figure out what's and what's not and what's what, which what, blah blah. Hizi ndio mchezo zinachezwa. Sisi tukizua. That's why I want us to open our eyes. Mimi nasema hivi, I'm advocating for this. Tuwache ujinga ya sijui hii coalition na hii coalition. Let us come together. Let's do what works. What made it work was Kenyans coming together like we did in June 2024, marching down the streets towards State House and showing the world, telling the world, standing in front of BBC, ABC, CNN, everything, telling them, Ruto must go. We are not accepting Ruto as the president of the Republic of Kenya any longer. Him, along with his whole cabinet ministers, CSS, everything up to the janitor. Waenda nyumbani. Legislative body already, they don't have the mandate. They lost their ninio when they lost their mace on June 25th. Waishie wote. And we start with a clean slate. Kome akae hapo 90 days when we are choosing our IBC so that we can have an interim government while we go to the next elections, okay? Hii mambo ya kungoja 2027, let me tell you what will happen in 2027. Should I read it to you? Let me tell you in simple terms what will happen. Tutaenda elections, people will be so happy tunaenda kutoa Ruto. Hey, Ruto must go. Hey, Ruto must go. Hey, Ruto must go. Oh, Ruto must go. Haya. Tunangoja IBC. Tayari wametuambia. Wacha niwaeleze kitu. Let me just remind you guys, since you forget too much. Tayari walishatuambia ati wanataka kupass law ama walisha pass, wanasema ati election will not be the election results will not be transmitted in real time. Unanielewa? Which means unajua ile ilipita, ukipiga kura hapa pap, wanahesabu, wanaingiza kwa portal, unaiona hapo kwa portal, kuna kura so and so huko ninio imeonyeshwa. Okay? Haya. Ndio mnasikia wewe kipa anawaambia he's building his own IBC software. Na wamesema, ulisikia Cherigei walikuwa wanataka kupitisha ninio in law ambayo inasema ati hawata ninio transmit it live. Election will not be transmitted live, which means watangoja, they will not transmit anything. Nyinyi mnaemba mmepiga kura, the voting has stopped. Sin voting inaisha saa 2. I'm just giving an example. Voting imeisha saa 2. Mutangoja Kibaki style. Mnangoja saa 3 ndio hiyo imefika saa 4. So wanapiga calculations. So they start with Central watu wangapi walipiga kura? Inaonekana 8 million votes imepigwa huko Central. So we are losing by 5 million. Okay? Tuko nyuma 5 million. Okay. Haya. So Murkomen, hebu Duale, pigia Duale hapo. Duale na Mohamed Haji, whatever his name is. We are losing by 5 million huko Central. Central wametushinda. So ongeza milioni 3 hapo ya New Northeastern, okay? Alafu ongeze zingine za hapo watu wa Gwambo hapo kwa sababu inasemekana tutakuwa na sisi. Haya, alafu ongeze cost hapo milioni 6. Alafu you see what I'm saying? Kuongeza hapa na pale, alafu ikifika saa 6 usiku hivi, sasa ni usiku, Murkomen ataenda, I don't know, the IBC whatever the case is, ataenda. Okay, wasikilizaji, tuko na mshindi wa presidential election ni William Samoei Arap Ruto. Halafu mtaanza vita. Watu wanauliwa Molo, watu wanakula Nakuru. Alafu tasikia UN, AU, sijui nani atakuja hapa Nairobi, wakae chini waongee. Alafu mtasikia okay, wamekaa chini, wamekubaliana they shall have a government of national unity kwa sababu they need to include everyone in government. Raila atakuwa prime minister, Musali atakuwa deputy prime minister, Gachagua atakuwa sijui deputy sijui dini, sijui Karua atakuwa sijui minister of defense, sijui Murkomen atakuwa minister of lifestyle, sijui nani atakuwa Matiang'i will be minister of livestock. Na tutaendelea mpaka 2032. Hiyo ndio maneno itakwenda. Kama mnataka kwenda 2027. Si mnataka 2027? That is how it will play out in 2027. Naambia saa hizi. Of course the referendum inakuja. Mobile, yes. Mwanzo hii mobile ndio sasa. Mobile watapima. Watasikia tu lori 6 zimetokea mobile. Trailer 6 zimejaa na kura za Ruto. 15 million. Sijui umetoka wapi? 15 million votes imetokea sijui wapi. Ruto akiona mnashindwa huko, haya lori 6 zimekuja hapo zimetoka sijui wapi. Northeastern. Wanjigi amepewa bunduki zake, license za bunduki. Referendum tutaikataa, wasiguze constitution. Absolutely. Referendum ikikuja tuangushe. So that is what's going to happen in 2027 for those of you who want 2027. So, mimi ndio nawaambia it's either tuende maandamano sahi ama mungoja ile maandamano ya 27, lakini ile maandamano ya 2027 itakuwa maandamano ya vita. So heri tuanze sahi. Safari ya kesho wanzo nini? Tuanze sahi. Hii mchezo wa coalition tuache. Hiyo mchezo haitatupeleka mahali bwana. Sijui coalition gani tumekuwa nayo. Kila renew coalition. Kila neno coalition imetupeleka wapi? Jubilee ilishikana na UDA coalition. Jubilee ilishikana na Azimio na ODM coalition. What difference did we see? Si nyani ni wale. Paka tutoe watu sahi, tushikane tutoe hao watu leo. Juni sifike kama Ruto bado ni prezo. Ruto Kindiki, kila mtu arudi nyumbani. Murkomen, kila kukikuwa na msukosuko, Murkomen is the minister of sports. Mara Murkomen alikuwa minister of roads. Mara Murkomen alikuwa minister of sijui transportation na sijui nini. Yani wanazungushwa tu hapa hivi. You have to have a popular revolution because the system in place is already compromised by William Samoei Ruto, including the ballot boxes, ballot papers, machines, voting machines, whoever is going to count. Joseph Sterling ilisema, it is not those who vote that decides the winner, but is the who counts the vote is who decides the winner of the election. Sa pigeni makelele na mambo ya sijui ID, sijui to register, tukavoti, sijui we are 20 million people, sijui we are very sijui nini, endeni mkafanyeni. Endeni mkaregister, hata mregister watu bilioni 27. Endeni. Wewe unafikiri Ruto akisimama hapo akisema ati mimi sioni mtu anaenda kunishinda? What does that mean? And 90% of the country is not supporting him. What gives him that the confidence to stand there aseme kitu kama hicho? He knows something that you don't know. Amejua kitu wewe hujui. Wewe bado unataka kwenda endeni mkaregister. Mimi si wakata. Listen, I'm not against registering to vote. Endeni mkaregister. By all means, endeni this is a democratic right. Lakini nawaambia, it is not who votes that decides the winner. It is whoever counts the vote is who decides the winner. Kwa nini hawa wakora walitaka amendment ya IBC, hiyo bill igeuzwe? And look at who was involved in these discussions. Ni wale nyani wale. Kalonzo Musyoka, Raila Odinga, Ruto William Ruto. Hao. Kaichungwa, hao. Ni wale. The same wale. Wakasema to change hii amendment bill ya IBC, to change. Hata judge alisema this thing bwana is illegal. Lakini they don't care. They are the political class. They don't care. Nyinyi bado mnaenda kuvote. Ati tuchukueni sijui mama, let's go register. Tutawatoa. And then mka register. Register even your pets. Waka vote. Mwapatia ID. Ruto will win early. Not because I want him to win. He has the system. This is what I was trying to tell you. Kupiga kiburi ati anatupatia he's going to leave whether we like it or not. That is what you want. There's two things in life. There's what you want and the reality on the ground. Ground haitaki Ruto. 90%, 85% of the population are ready to vote Ruto out. But he has the instruments of power. Wewe, tuende Uganda. Yoweri Museveni has been a president since 1986. Do you think he has won all those elections? What keeps him in power? What keeps Museveni in power? I'm giving you hope. Mimi nataka mnawafungua macho alafu nitawapatia hope. What keeps Museveni in power? Mtu anijibu. What keeps Museveni in power? He has the instrument. Kama ni majaji, majaji ni wake. Kama ni majeshi, majeshi ni wake. Kama ni wabunge, wabunge ni wake. So mkitaka vita, atawanyonga. Mkienda kotini, atawanasa. Mkienda kupiga kura, atawashinda. Sasa jiulize, kama ako na hiyo instrument ya power, njia gani tena mnaweza kumshinda? Njia moja tu ndio mnaweza kumshinda nayo. mushikane kama wananchi wote wa Uganda ama wa Kenya, na mtoe vile Bangladesh walimtoa rais wao. Without that, zidini kupiga makelele mkijienjoy na mambo ya coalition, sijui Matiangi, sijui nani, Sasa hii mchezo ndio maana mimi nawaambianga hapa hata Gachagua listen. Mimi nilisema kitu ya kwanza. Gachagua angetuambia straight away. Mpango ni hivi. By the way, Gachagua angekuanga, if Gachagua was truly the new president, enemy of the president, Gachagua angekuwa haishi hapa Kenya. Angeshaenda anaishi Saudi Arabia, America or Australia. Ruto angemchinja. Sino waliua Ogola. Wewe unafikiri Ogola aliuliwa kwa nini? Mimi nawaambianga ukweli. No, okay. Unasema, okay, sawa. One day manasema the history of Uganda is different from history of Kenya. I've asked this question. What keeps Ruto in power right now? The truth is nobody wants him, right? Why is he in power? Since sote hatumtaki, tumekubaliana Ruto must go. Tunaimbanga Ruto must go kila siku. What is keeping him in power if he has lost all the legitimacy from the people who voted him there? Nimetoka Uganda, nazungumza Kenya saizi. I want us to brainstorm this. Like the video, ladies and gentlemen. I need 10 more likes. Tuongee, tuko Kenya sasa. Yeah, it's been by force. Ruto is not there by force. No, nasema all Uganda governments have been by force. Ruto is not there by force. Even Kenyan governments have been by force. The only president who was voted in democratically by the majority of Kenya is Kibaki in 2002. After that, all the presidents from Kenyatta, Uhuru, I mean from Jomo, Moi, Uhuru, Kibaki the second term, 2007, and Ruto has been by force. Sio demokrasia, don't be fooled. Wewe unafikiri nani Moi alishinda hizo renio zote, elections zote hizo za within those 24 years? Only Kibaki was voted in democratically in 2002. Only Kibaki. The rest is by force. But what kept them in power? Because the same thing that kept them in power is what's keeping the Ugandan president in power. That's what I'm trying to say. There's no difference. Yeah, that I know it was one party state, but what kept them in power? Hata kama ikuwa multi-partyism, hata one state, that does not change the fact. A president in Kenya can have no legitimate support from the people, but still maintain power. Case in point, William Samoei Ruto. Why is he still the president then? What keeps him there? Uhuru Kenyatta, the same thing. 2017 silishindwa. What kept him in power? Answer that. Ndio maana nawaambia mutaenda mupewe ID, muregister, muvote, mufanye vile mnataka, mutaenda mupige vote, na ndio you will discover that they rigged. You will discover sijui amenunua mashini gani. Tumeambiwa software pia akona software yake ambayo anataka kufanya nao mambo yake. You will discover all those things. All of those things you'll discover. Utaona hata vile wameiba, wamehack, wakafanya, wakageuza kura, wakafanya nini, wakaongeza kura hapa. But he will still maintain be the president. Hiyo mambo itapelekwa kotini, koti aseme hot air. Na kuna pale mtampeleka. Kwani 2017 ilienda aje? Wewe. Nani? Watu walipata wakaangalia sava Raila won in 2017. Maraga akasema yenyewe hapa kulikuwa na ninio. Haya. Uhuru na Ruto wakakasirika wakasema Justice, one of those justice ninio, who is the former Supreme Court Justice, ninio, Deputy Supreme Court Justice. Bodyguard wake alichapwa bunduki akadedi the night before ninio. Ile koti vile mambo ilivaa court ninio. Maraga went there, was the most uncomfortable. Sura ulikuwa unaona he was shaking because Uhuru was ready to kill him. He wasn't playing around. Sasa unafikiri 2027 ikifika hata mdiscover amefanya hizo vitu zote, si mtaenda kotini mseme ati atawaambia democratically speaking you need to go to court, endeni kotini. Martha Koome atapigiwa simu ambiwe jaribu uone. Jaribu uone, watoto wako wote watanyongwa mpaka mjukuu. Jaribu uone Martha Koome. Koome jaribu kutoa usema ati nimeshindwa. Utaona Martha Koome atafika. That's what I'm saying. The only way to remove Ruto is through a popular revolution. Vile Gen Z walituonyesha njia. Ni ukweli, si ati nini. Lakini mjaribu hiyo kura, mimi nitakaa hapa tu, tutaangalia, tutakava, tutaongea, I will even support you. I'm supporting you. I want him to leave. But mimi naambia reality, tumeona hii kitu kifanyikwa year after. Tangu siku za Moi alikuwa anakujanga huko usijui Mandera, anawaambia ati mpige nini nitawawekea stima, na analeta post za stima hapo hivyo. Akishafanya hivi vitu hapa anashinda. Hizo mapolls zinatolewa the next day. We've seen this since 92, 97, 2013, 2007, 2013, 2022. We've seen these things. So si ati barabara ambayo tunataka kuona, si kitu mpya ambayo tunataka kuona hii this time. Tumeona hii kitu imefanyiwa. It has been done after time after time after time and time again. But you still want to use the same way of trying to defeat these dictatorships, thinking you'll get different results. You know, I usually hear people say that Gen Z did something that the previous generations did. It's not true. I'm sorry. Gen Z that just did it a different way. Because they have, in their time, they have information and they can, you know, wanaweza kujininio in a very quickly, in a very fast way. But even the previous ninio, walifanya vitu. I mean, back in hizo siku za multi-party democracy, hizo sabasaba, give it to them. They were bold. For them to go to the streets for sabasaba wakina Matiba, Orengo, na wengine wao, they were bold. Hizo siku ulikuwa wezi kufanya hivyo. I mean, times have changed. Now they are hata hao pia wamegeuka mambo yao. They were bold. So let's not say that hii generation ambayo zilipita hazikufanya kitu. Don't ever dare say that. They did something. They were just as bold. Moi ukicheza atakunyonga. Hii si mchezo ya sijui Kasongo hapa ati ninio abduction sijui nini. Even abduction, unajua abduction is 50-50. Saa ingine unanyongwa, saa ingine unaweza survive depending on how people advocate for you. Moi ulikuwa unapotea bwana. And that will be the end of you. They were just as brutal. Yeah? Ouko, his crime was to use kizungu mingi kama ya Kasmuel huko kwa ninio. Alirudi akauliwa. Just because he seemed to be someone who was more qualified than anybody else. Karibu Jared, I've been ranting for a long time. Karibu Jared Wangera. How are you doing?
How are you?
I'm doing good, my friend. What's in your mind today?
I hope you'll bear with me if you don't see my face, because I feel that I'm more safe without my face being seen, being domiciled in this country.
Okay, I know how you look like, so you can go ahead. I have no qualms with that. Go ahead. The floor is yours.
Where do you want me to start from?
You can start from wherever you want. It's an open discussion.
Oh, we seem to be in a blunder after blunder. Just after the African Union Commission election blunder, we seem to have gotten into another blunder in the name of the RSF. The RSF is the paramilitary unit associated with the Janjaweed in Sudan. Just 2 days ago, they were hosted at the Kenyatta International Conference Center, where they claimed that they were going to form a parallel government from the Kenyan soil. So as a country, I don't know where we are headed to, or are we just getting everything wrong? Because sovereignty of any country is an international principle. It is an international principle. So long as there is a government in place, so you cannot interfere with the sovereignty of that government. And here we saw the RFA, at the Kenyatta International Conference Center. KICC is a government-owned property. These were people on the Kenyan soil. How did they get on the Kenyan soil to purport that they can form a parallel government from the Kenyan soil? And this comes, a few months, after Nanga. Nanga is the guy who was the former electoral commission chairperson and the chairperson of the Congo River Alliance that has joined, M23 in the Congo DRC to try and overthrow the government of President Felix Tshisekedi. That guy was equally hosted in this country, and he was in a position to address press conferences from Kenya. So where are we headed? Where is our diplomacy? Why are we poking our noses in issues that do not concern us as a country? When we have a lot of issues. I've just seen a long statement by the Sovereign Council of South Sudan, to President William Samoei Ruto. And in that statement, there were claims that, Kenya equally faces a number of problems that could be similar to those ones in South Sudan, in North Sudan, but not South Sudan, but Sudan. Problems like the unemployment, the unemployment is a serious problem here, just that it is a problem in many of the African countries. So they felt that, Kenya was poking its nose in matters that did not concern them. So, every time whenever I sit down and I try to reflect, I wonder who are these people who advise William Samoei Ruto? And again, today, the permanent secretary for Foreign Affairs, a person who is supposed to have every information, at what we call the fingerprint, picked, a fake clip purportedly to be from CNN and posted it on his X account. Imagine a whole permanent secretary in charge of foreign affairs in the Republic of Kenya picking a fake clip, video clip, and purporting and posting it on his X handle as if it is a genuine clip. Where did counter-checking go? When you're permanent secretary in charge of Foreign Affairs, then you should be in a position to counter-check every information that comes you come across. You don't just pick anything that comes across you like any other layman on social media, and you end up posting it and claiming that, it's a genuine position. So, where we are as a country, we are losing it. Both internally and externally, we seem to be losing it. Internally, we are getting everything wrong. Externally and diplomatically, we seem to be getting everything wrong. So, I don't know what will be our way forward, but, we are thinking and thinking very fast.
Yes, I agree. I think the solution has to come within from the Kenyan people and not the political elites who have actually taken us to this, ditch, this diplomatic dip that we are in. I mean, for Ruto to let these people, RSF, organize their government in KICC, that does not bode well with the Sudanese government. That's actually is a diplomatic suicide. So we'll have that kind of, there'll be static, so to speak, tensions between us and the Sudanese, Southern Sudanese folks over there. And we already know our position in Congo, as we were discussing before. So this is a mess. Now, internally, we are still waiting to see how this thing will play out with how the legislative body will rearrange itself. Meanwhile, I kept on touching on this. I am curious as to whether they shall audit this so-called 13 billion or more that was given to Raila for the campaign finance for the AU seat. Okiya Mtata made a very good point saying that any money that leaves the treasury must be approved by the National Assembly. Nobody approved it. So who approved it? And can they audit it, itemize, show us line by line how this 13 billion went? The hotels, the private jets, shoes, food, anything. We need to know, because 13 billion si pesa ya kununua mandazi. And funny enough, the Juja MP mentioned this, and immediately the DCI came and got him. And they changed the charge, saying that, oh, it's because he has been forging, he forged his education background since 1994. While Oscar Sudi, who everyone knows can barely speak in any language, is out there known to have forged his education papers, is out there arguing with Sifuna. This is the country we are living in, Mr. Wangera. Don't you think we need a popular revolution? Because as my friends told me, well, he has left, sorry. They told me that we should go face these guys at the ballot. And the guy, are we underestimating Ruto? His desperation? I don't think the ballot is the way forward. He shall win if we are to go to the ballot. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, I have to stop it here. It's been 1 hour. Daniel Wangera was here. I'm sorry, maybe he lost his Denio and he dropped, but I will stop it here. It's been 1 hour, 27 minutes. So please, Ebu and like and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, share, like, comment, and do all the stuff. I'll let it here. I will go to other platforms. Thank you so much. Wangera, I'm sorry. I know you're coming back, but I'm just wrapping up because I have to attend to somebody else. But thank you guys. I'll see you later. Peace and blessings. Peace.